Your pistol accuracy got you bummed out, having a hard time crushing those bullseyes at 25 yards? I've got a simple hack that in a very short amount of time is going to make you super accurate. Stick around. So normally in my videos the board is an afterthought, but in this one it's kind of center stage. I find a lot of people with the trigger, when they get on the trigger, they just smash right through it. And they do indeed get the bullet to go down range and it goes someplace, but what if you want that perfect shot? First we have to kind of break down what the trigger really is. If the trigger at rest is here on my graph, in other words, there's no real pressure on it, you can have your finger on it, but I've applied no pressure. And then if you take the slack out, or you hit what a lot of people call the wall, it's that first initial point of resistance, we'll start there. This part, this doesn't even count. This is just taking safeties off. So that's the slack out. But the problem is once you have the slack out, there's more trigger. And I have this represented with this 1 to 10 scale and then the bang. And the trigger, when it hits that point where it goes over the edge, where if it's empty it goes click, but where if you have it loaded it actually goes bang. That's 10. So I think of it as a 1 to 10 scale on a very micro level, right? You can tell the student or yourself that 1 is here and 10 is bang. And they're like, but I don't want you to hit 10. I want you to go to 2. And then I want you to go to 3. And then I want you to go to 4. And then I want you to go to 5. Don't make it go bang. Go to 6. Go to 7. Don't make it go bang. Go to 8. At some point in there, a lot of times the shot will break. That's for a more novice student, or for you if you're having a harder time kind of getting those little subtle nuances. But if you want a perfect shot, don't just crush the trigger. Just tell yourself, hey, I'm going to take it to 10, but in increments. And that is going to give you that perfect trigger break. Pretty much every time. Yeah, the sight's going to wobble around a little bit. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But that's the perfect trigger break, that 1 to 10 trigger. If you get to 10 and it still hasn't gone bang because you've miscalculated, well, don't go from 10 to 20. Don't go 10, just say, okay, 10.1, and then put another little increment on there. Then 10.2, then 10.3, then 10.4. Like just keep adding a little teeny bit at a time, a little teeny bit at a time, and then the gun will go bang for you. Don't lose your patience. Don't get crazy. Don't go, oh, I'm just going to go make it go bang. Because usually at that point, when we do that, we have real problems. Like that scale, it doesn't really work for us anymore, and we lose our chance to get that perfect shot. Now I know what you're saying. Hey, this is cool, but it's really slow. I need to shoot fast. How do I do that and not dump all that accuracy? Well, then instead of the 1 to 10 trigger, then do what I call the 9 and 10 trigger. So as soon as I come up and I get on target, I prep this thing all the way to there. Right off the jump, I just go to 9. I go, 9 and then bang 10. And then I reset it, and then if I want to shoot fast again, I prep it all the way to 9, hard. And then bang 10 each time. The 9-10 trigger is the speed hack that still allows you to be accurate. But it's a little more advanced, so if the 9-10 trigger is a little crazy for you, work on this first. Work on, hey, my slack out is kind of starting at the bottom, and then I'm just going to work my way through those increments. Try and find it, because most triggers, even really good triggers, there is some slop between that slack and the actual bang. Now I know like a really nice 1911 trigger that's been tuned, you know, it's a 2 or 3 pound trigger. You may not feel that all 1 to 10 in there. You might feel it more like 1 to 4. I don't know. Whatever it works for you, but replace my scale for your own subjective scale, but don't let your scale go past 10, and don't get impatient, because sometimes we're trying to break that perfect shot at distance and we get somewhere in here, maybe there. And this is where I really call this the temptation zone, where you go, you know what, screw it, I've run out of time, I've run out of patience, and then you just crush that trigger, crush your grip, and then the shot is not really good. Patience is a key, but even at speed, the 9-10 trigger, patience is the key. What if you're saying, hey Jay, I tried the 9-10 trigger and I don't quite get there and I just go bang each time? Well, if you hard prep such that it goes bang but the gun didn't disturb, that's okay too. If the 9 and 10 is a little too subtle, then go 8, 10. But for my money, the speed and accuracy comes from the 9-10 trigger, and the pure accuracy goes from the 1-10 trigger. And even 9-10 is not horribly inaccurate. It may just be not the most perfect trigger break. So if you're having a hard time with bullseye shooting or trying to shoot a smaller target or a more distant target, try the 1-10 trigger. Tell it to yourself mentally, or if you're working with somebody and they're having a hard time getting hits at distance or on really small targets, have them do the same thing. If you can be visually and mentally patient enough, the 1-10 trigger will let you crush dot torture at distances way beyond 3 yards. It is my hack for supreme accuracy. I hope that helps, guys. I'm not going to beat this up any longer, but I thought since it was kind of running around in my head, it would be helpful to more people than just me, because I've worked with a few students recently and had them play with this, and it really helped them just in terms of understanding what's going on with the trigger. I kind of show them on a trigger, and then I have them duplicate my work while I'm coaching them through it. Every single one of them's done really well at distance. Now, this video is kind of esoterically interesting to about maybe 5 people. Most of my other videos tend to focus on things that may be a little more broad, interesting to you, but in general, if your interests are guns, knives, the occasional booze content, and veer off into fitness just a skosh, then hit that subscribe button, guys. I really appreciate your time. Hope this video has been of interest. Take care, stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get him, Jay.